All right, so I got a request to go over the best software to use when it comes to YouTube automation and just YouTube related software in general. And of course, I decided to do it because, obviously, like there's a lot of good software out there, and I want to show you guys which ones that I use, which ones that my clients use, and which ones I think are good. Now, this is going to be specifically for people who are kind of starting off on YouTube. I'll talk about some of the software that I think are good, but they're not good for people that are just starting off, right? I just think it just doesn't really make too much sense when it comes to automating YouTube. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, I'm Shane Hummus. I have a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel. Once in a while, I'll get a comment on this channel like, why are you giving YouTube advice when you only have 4,000 subscribers? So yeah, I have a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel. I've also taught over 15 people to get to 7 figures per year using their YouTube channels. So like I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you exactly what software I use. So this is going to be from S tier, which is the best, all the way down to D tier, which is the worst. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, some of these software on the list I'm not super familiar with, but let's go ahead and start off right away with one that I think is really good, and that is vidIQ. So vidIQ, this is a software that you can use to basically do research on different, YouTube SEO. It's a software that you can use to do research on keywords. You can also track channels that you're interested in. It just has so many incredibly useful features. The only thing it doesn't have, which actually doesn't matter anymore, is split testing. You can't really split test like titles and thumbnails with it, at least not that I'm aware of. But it literally has like everything else. And this is the if I could only have one tool when it comes to doing research on YouTube analytics, vidIQ would be it. My absolute favorite feature of this tool is the related keywords part of the tool, where you can type in a keyword. Sometimes you can even type in the name of a channel, and it'll tell you what keywords are semantically related to that channel or that keyword. And it'll tell you what people are semantically related to the keyword as well. So you can basically see like who owns a keyword. And it's just so unbelievably easy to figure out what keywords are important, who are the market leaders, et cetera, et cetera. It just makes it so easy. Like I can go into a new niche and just understand like 95% of what I need to understand about the niche in like 15, 20 minutes, right? So vidIQ, super useful. I'm going to put it in S tier. By the way, I don't have any affiliate links, sponsorships, or brand deals with any of these companies that I'm mentioning. With that being said, if you want me to put the affiliate link, just comment below and I'll put the affiliate link. I guess I don't mind. That would be a great way to make a little bit of money. So why not? All right. So next one on the list, Capwing. So this is a really cool video editing tool because it has collaborative features, and it has some really advanced features to it. Now, there's a basic version that you can use for free, but it has some collaborative features, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot of these little video editing tools out there, and I do have my favorites. I think Capwing is pretty good. It's not the one that I absolutely rave about, but at the same time, it's pretty good. It's a good backup. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in B tier. I'm going to keep it right there where it is. Notion. Okay, so Notion for organizing things, for keeping things organized. So for instance, for storing your scripts. A lot of people really like Notion. I've seen a lot of people out there. It has like a cult-like following. People will even pay really good money for like Notion templates. And I think I've tried to get into Notion like 3 separate times, and it's just never been a big thing for me. It's just never been that useful. Like I always think like, why am I using Notion when I could just do the exact same thing on Google Docs or something even simpler? Notion is relatively, complicated, and there's a lot you can do with it compared to something like Google Docs. And so I've just never really got into Notion. With that being said, there's a lot of people that like it, so I can't put it in like a D tier, but I've tried it like 3 or 4 different times, and I just don't like it. But there's a lot of people, especially writers, that just swear by Notion. And yeah, man, I mean, you can customize it, and it's kind of like a CRM that you can sort of customize yourself. And if you really want to spend that kind of time doing that, that's great. But I think I feel like I put Notion in the category of these organizational tools that are designed to save your time, that actually end up taking more time than they save in most cases. Like I think most people that use Notion actually end up taking more time setting up Notion and keeping Notion organized than they actually save using Notion, right? And that's a big problem I see. Now, I have a very simple organizational system, and it's gotten me to millions of dollars a year and a million subscriber YouTube channel and owning multiple businesses, right? And it's like I don't have to use Notion for that, right? But some people really swear by it and they absolutely love it. It might even be a little bit addictive for, I think, creative type people really enjoy making their own, a customized Notion, right? But yeah, it's pretty good. I like it, but it's not great. Um, Next is going to be Jasper. Now, Jasper is for writing, it's an AI, and it is for basically writing copy. Now, it's designed specifically to write copy, but a lot of people use it for content as well. And we were using Jasper for a while for content, and we did like it, but we found better alternatives. Okay, so this is a pretty good AI tool. We did like it, but we found a significantly better alternative. So for that reason, I mean, the AI world is brutal because like one week you might be, on top of the world in the AI world, everyone's talking about you, and then the next week you're ancient history, right? The AI world is absolutely brutal. So I feel bad for Jasper, but I want to put it in B tier just to be nice, but yeah, I mean it's been good in the past. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier. I think I'm being a little too nice though. Next is Descript. So Descript is a video editing software where it actually you can edit by the words, right? Now, I like the fact that you can edit it by the words. It makes it very easy to edit podcasts, but there's actually one feature that I use Descript for that has actually nothing to do with editing by the words. And it's this feature where you can maintain eye contact. Okay. So Descript has this feature where you can actually correct your eye contact. So, for instance, let's say I'm looking off to the side. I glance off to the side for a script because I forget the word, right? I'm trying to say a sentence and I forget the word that I'm looking for it on the script. As long as I don't turn my head and I just look at the script, I can just use the eye contact feature in that moment when I'm editing the video to make it look like I never looked away from the video. Now, one big mistake with the script, with the eye contact feature, is trying to use it on the entire video. Okay, don't do that. Do not try to use the script, the eye contact thing on the entire video, because you're just going to be death staring into the camera, right? It's going to be really creepy. You're going to look like you're a doll with dead eyes, right? You belong in some kind of creepy horror movie, right? But use it at those little moments where you accidentally look down or you accidentally look up or you accidentally look at your script. You can use it at those little moments, and it's really, really good. It is not my main video editing software. It's also not the video editing software that I typically recommend to my clients, although that might be changing, and I'll be getting to that, why that is soon. But yeah, it's just quite good. It's just overall extremely solid. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in S tier because I found it to be extremely useful. Some of my students actually do use Descript when they edit their videos, and they like it, and it's totally usable. It's very user friendly. It's very usable. You can edit by the words. People like having those words on the script as well because they can kind of tell where they are in the editing process. So I like Descript. I think it's very good, especially for like a beginner if you're just starting on YouTube and you want to quickly edit your videos, right? So I'm gonna put it in S tier. Really like Descript. Canva. All right. Canva is one of the most unbelievably useful tools, and I can't believe so much of it is free. There was a while there where we were actually using Canva for all of our animations on the channel. And I've used Canva for like pretty, advanced, like quote unquote advanced animation stuff that just was made on Canva. And it's like you'd think that you'd have to use something very expensive like Adobe After Effects for this type of animation, but Canva actually can handle pretty advanced animations. It's really just amazing what you can do on Canva. You can literally edit an entire YouTube video on Canva if you want to. And they have some really cool automation features where it interacts with AI, so that you can set up the API with AI, which is just amazing. So Canva is a really awesome tool. I I don't use it that often anymore, except for another thing about Canva is I'll say is you can also use Canva to make thumbnails, and the thumbnails are pretty good, right? So for somebody who just wants an all-in-one tool that you can do literally everything you need to do with one tool, including making thumbnails, and you're strapped for cash. Canva is amazing. I mean, even the pro version of Canva doesn't cost that much, but Canva is just a phenomenal company. I think I'll go ahead and put it in A tier, but it's really just a good jack of all trades type of tool. All right, so this next one is Content Cal, and this one is basically like a way of kind of scheduling your content, and you can do this on multiple different platforms. And so, yeah, it's we don't really use these, to be honest with you. We have found that for one, on YouTube, their built-in scheduling system is incredibly good, so you don't really need to. And then for two, on a lot of the other platforms, like we found on Instagram and sometimes Facebook, if you try to use some kind of content scheduling software, it doesn't push the content as much. And so we found that we don't like using content scheduling software, generally speaking. So there's a few sites where you can do it, but yeah, generally speaking, we don't like to do it, and we like to upload manually. And so yeah, that's we're gonna have to put that into D tier for that reason. If you are a streamer, StreamYard is great. If you're not a streamer, ignore it. Otter.ai is a great tool because you can drop any video or even a link to a video or even just watch a video on your screen using Otter.ai, and it will give you a transcript. So just as an example, you could find somebody's VSL and you can just have Otter.ai going and it'll give you a transcript of their VSL, which is amazing. Or you can drop a video into it and it'll give you a transcript. So Otter.ai is a phenomenal tool. I'm going to go ahead and put this one into A tier. ClickUp. Okay, we really like ClickUp. We use this to keep track of our clients and make sure that our clients are getting success. So, that's very important to us. ClickUp is a little bit of a complicated software, but anybody who's like an operations manager or is really into organization, ClickUp is extremely good. So I like ClickUp. If we didn't have clients, we probably wouldn't use it, but we care so much about our clients, and we really want to make sure that they get results. So we use ClickUp for our clients. I'm going to go ahead and put this one into A tier, and I'm going to get another one. When it comes to making content, I actually really like Asana, and I'm going to put Asana into S tier. And the reason is because Asana is just so simple, and especially if you just use the Kanban board feature, which is where you just you have these different columns, and then you just move the task over from column to column as you're completing it. So for instance, with video editing or for creating a video, you could have like an idea column, a thumbnail, title, intro column, a video recording column, video editing column, and then a video uploading and optimizing column, et cetera, et cetera. You can just move the video along as you make it, right? And you can do these automations where it sends certain people emails, or reminds people when it goes from one step to another, or reminds people if something is overdue, which is super useful. It's quite easy and intuitive to use, and that's what I really like about it. I just love how easy and intuitive it is to use. There's almost no training required, whereas ClickUp is a little more complicated to use, and it does require a little bit of training. And my philosophy, generally speaking, is just make things as frictionless as possible. But just because it's slightly better, I do use it for my clients, right? To keep track of them. But I use Asana to keep track of the content, right? So content calendar. All right. So next one is Adobe Suite. Now, this is like Adobe Premiere Pro, which is the editing software, but it's also Adobe Photoshop and it is, Adobe After Effects. It's just like the whole Adobe suite. The two main ones that you would probably be using are Adobe Premiere Pro, which is for editing, and Adobe Photoshop, which is for making really, really good thumbnails. So, to be honest with you, the thumbnail is so important that I actually do recommend using Adobe Photoshop. You can use Canva for the thumbnails, but you're not going to have that precise control over everything that you have with Photoshop. You can make some good thumbnails in Canva, though, right? But with that being said, we use Adobe Photoshop, we use Adobe Premiere Pro, and we use Adobe After Effects. If you are first starting when it comes to video editing, there's actually a different editing software that I recommend that you use. It is CapCut. So I'm actually just going to put that on there right now. CapCut is the best, most easiest, most user-friendly beginner software there is for video editing. And I think that if you really want to take YouTube seriously, for most people, you shouldn't be editing your own videos. If you're editing your own videos, it's very difficult to stay consistent. And Adobe Premiere Pro has quite a bit of a learning curve when it comes to editing. It is not easy to use. It is going to take you, some serious time and effort to learn. Whereas CapCut, I swear, you could probably teach the oldest person in your family how to use CapCut in like a matter of minutes. Like, it's literally the most user-friendly, unbelievably easy tool to use. With that being said, it was banned for like a couple of days when TikTok was banned. I'm guessing that's because it's like a Chinese company or something like that. I don't really know what's going on in that situation. But if you're watching this video, CapCut might not actually be available. And in that case, I would probably use Descript instead. And that would suck if it's not available. But yeah, I'd probably use Descript. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, use CapCut if it's available. If not, maybe use Descript if you're a beginner. And then if you really want to take YouTube extremely seriously and you really just insist on editing, you can use Adobe Premiere Pro. However, if you hire editors, they should probably be using Adobe Premiere Pro or some other type of like pro editing software. All right. So next is going to be OBS Studio. And this is what a lot of people use to actually record themselves and also record their screen, right? And people also use it for streaming. And the craziest thing about this software is that it's completely free. OBS, in my opinion, is the best like self-recording software where so that I describe what's going on here. You've got your camera, you've got your DSLR camera right here. Maybe you even have a second camera, right? And that camera, instead of saving on its memory card, it saves directly into your computer, which saves you a step. And it allows you to see what you look like on video so that if there's any sound problems or lighting problems or blurriness problems, which like a lot of the time that does happen, like 20% of the time, I'd say something like that does happen. You can just see it, right? So you can do a quick little test video and make sure everything's good. So guys, like OBS is unbelievably good. I've used a lot of like screen recording / recording yourself right into the computer software. And OBS is the best and it's free, which is crazy, right? It is literally the best software and it's free. So absolutely love OBS. It's phenomenal. Can't say any more about it. It's just great. It's just great. All right, next, let's talk about TubeBuddy. So TubeBuddy is a vidIQ competitor. It's kind of like a YouTube tool just to help you. It's kind of like your, TubeBuddy. It's like your YouTube sidekick. And for years, I had a subscription to TubeBuddy. And the reason I did is because they did split testing. They did thumbnail and title split testing. But the thing is there's native thumbnail split testing on YouTube now. And because of that, you don't really need to use TubeBuddy. And so I don't have a subscription with them anymore. And to be honest with you, vidIQ, like there's a lot of things that TubeBuddy and vidIQ both do. And I just think that vidIQ does them all better. And so TubeBuddy is good, but I just don't personally think it's as good as vidIQ. And so I'm going to put it into B tier. The one thing I might get TubeBuddy for in the future is title split testing, because YouTube doesn't allow you to split test your titles. So that could be the one thing that I use TubeBuddy for in the future. Okay, next is LastPass. So this is my YouTube channel got hacked about a year and a half ago, and part of the reason is because I wasn't using LastPass to let people access it. So LastPass is a password sharing software. You basically are able to share passwords with people remotely, and all these different software that you have here, you want to be able to share your password with people without worrying about them getting hacked, for instance, which is what happened in my case. One of my um, contractors got hacked, or potentially even them being like a bad person and stealing your stuff, which is pretty rare, but it does happen, right? So LastPass is a great way to protect against that. I think it's great. It does have some problems. We've had some real issues with it. It doesn't, sometimes when you share a password with someone, it doesn't update right away, which is super annoying. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and put it into A tier. All right, keywords everywhere. This is another really, really good kind of like SEO tool. And basically, it just makes keywords pop up on your screen everywhere you go, hence the name, keywords everywhere. But the one that's especially useful is on YouTube. It'll have keywords pop up. And when it does have keywords pop up, it'll tell you the approximated search volume and also how much people are spending on ads, and also how competitive it is. So how competitive is it? How much people are spending on ads, and the approximate search volume. So super, super useful. And I just think it's a great tool. I just love having it on because it just gives me so many ideas for different video ideas I can make, etc. So love keywords everywhere. It's going into S tier. And next is Claude. So Claude is an AI software that's an AI writing tool. And this is by far my favorite AI writing tool on the market. There's just something about Claude that makes its writing seem so human, so good. Just the writing is just so good with Claude, and it's so easy to use. With ChatGPT, for instance, you can get some good output when it comes to writing, but you really have to know what you're doing with prompts. With Claude, you can kind of be bad at prompting, and it still is going to output something really, really good. Claude is like my little sidekick now. I ask it questions all the time. Absolutely love Claude. It is S tier. And if there's an S plus tier, I'd put it in S plus tier. It's absolutely phenomenal. ChatGPT, on the other hand, I still think ChatGPT is good. I do have the $200 a month pro version. And I will say that when it comes to reasoning, it's the best AI that I've used, but of course that could change 2 days from now, right? There's that Chinese AI that came out, and I haven't checked it out, but apparently it's pretty good. I think it's called Deep Learn or Deep Dive or something like that. But yeah, ChatGPT has been consistently the best or one of the best, for a very long time when it comes to reasoning. So sometimes for like really big strategic questions, I'll ask ChatGPT questions instead of Claude because it does seem to give slightly better output. But for writing, I still think that Claude has the better output. So I'm going to go ahead and put ChatGPT into A tier. I think it's still good. And next one is Google Docs and just the Google Suite in general. I write my scripts on Google Docs still. Okay. I don't use Notion. I tried using Notion for a little bit. I just think Google Docs is super useful. I write my scripts on Google Docs. I have all kinds. I have my SOPs shared on Google Docs. I just think Google Docs and just the Google Suite in general is incredibly useful. It's amazing that it's free. And I think Google's just a great company. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put it into S tier. All right. So the next one is repurpose.io. And this is one where basically you make, like, let's say a YouTube video or a podcast or something like that, and it will repurpose that content to a bunch of other different platforms. So it automatically figures out what the right dimensions are, et cetera, to upload to, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Reels, TikTok, maybe even like Snapchat, et cetera, Facebook. So I have messed around with this tool a little bit, and it is relatively good. I think there's a lot of improvements that they could make on this, and I think there's some things that they kind of claim that they can do that they fall short on. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to actually do it in the future. So I do like repurpose.io. I'm kind of debating between B or A tier. I think I'll go ahead and put it into A tier because I do think it's the best tool that claims to do that on the market, although it does have issues doing that, right? So yeah, it's overall pretty good. All right, so next is a relatively new tool that we've been experimenting with a little bit, and we really like this one. And basically, it's an AI powered social media management tool where it helps you basically publish like AI content. It's an AI helper for publishing content across various different platforms, and kind of like having brand consistency and stuff like that. And that's one thing I kind of see is a big problem is like brand consistency. People will publish content on different platforms, but it's just totally different branding. And yeah, this is a pretty good tool. Again, I think it falls short on some things, but overall, I find it pretty useful. And I've heard other people say really good things about it as well. And next, we've got this tool called Later. And this is another one where it's like a social media management app. And I swear, there's just so many of these. I mean, I think there's hundreds of these out there. And this one is another one where it's pretty good. But overall, I just think it's better to just have human beings uploading your content. Like, just hire a social media manager and just have them upload your content or just do it yourself. It's not that hard to do it. I mean, it saves you a few minutes here and there, but on some of the platforms, like I said, they don't really like it when you do social media management apps, and they might not rank your videos high. So it's just not really recommended. But overall, I think it's relatively good. And if you really need to do it, then you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, overall, especially like the A and S tier, these are the ones that I really recommend, especially S tier. Those are phenomenal. Those are tools that we use all the time. If I forgot any of them, let me know down in the description in the pinned comment below, and maybe I'll make another video like this and go over it. But overall, if you would like to learn how to grow and make money on YouTube, just like I've done and just like my clients have done, then go ahead, schedule a 45-minute demo with us. We will go over what your sticking points are, what your problems are. So we'll diagnose those. And then the second thing we'll do is we'll figure out where you want to go. We'll figure out a roadmap. That's the third thing we do for you. And then we'll see if we are a good fit to work together. So check that out. It'll be down in the description and the pinned comment below. And I'll see you next time.